Hello everyone, hello Facebook friends. Trust you are having a good day. It's Wednesday and hope you're doing great. I'm sorry I'm 15 minutes late. I said I was going to come on like 1 p.m. but I had to set up some things with, I have to help my big mom set some things up. All right, without any further ado, so I actually want to talk about how we created gender inequality. How we created gender inequality. It's going to be surprised, but it's going to be a surprising thing to so many people. But we actually created gender inequality. It's a man's invention. It's our own invention. We invented gender inequality. And the funniest thing is that it started right from when, we were kids. It started right from when your child is, your children are kids. We have actually inputted in them some stereotypes. They begin to believe some things and they grow up with these beliefs, and these beliefs form their expectation. It forms what they expect of themselves as a man, and what your girl child expects of herself as a woman. And in so many ways, I've highlighted 9 ways in which we as parents, we are actually guilty. Parents are actually guilty of the mental stereotype of gender inequality. And if we do not do something to change this, I'm sorry to say, that stereotype is still going to remain. Last week, I was discussing with my big mom, and she was telling me a story of a man in the 1950s when she was still young. This man had 7 female kids. 7 female kids. She had 7 female kids. He had 7 female kids, and he was pressuring his wife to give birth to a male child. And the woman actually died at the birth of the 7th child. And do you know what killed her? What killed her was the news. The news that got to her that the child she does give birth to is a girl. She died. On hearing that news, she died because the 1st child female, 2nd child female, 3rd child female, 4th child female, 5th child female, 6th child female. Now they are praying to God and hoping that this 7th child is going to be a male. And lo and behold, God being so grateful, God being so faithful, it became a female. And she died. She collapsed. She probably died of an heart attack. The man didn't die. The woman died. Now it's a stereotype to it, that we have created. It's so funny to think that until you have a male child, you don't have a complete child. Some people actually think that until I have a male child, I don't yet have a complete child, which is very, very wrong. Because, like I've always said, I have not seen anything that a man is doing right now that a woman is not doing. I don't know. I really don't understand why you want to go the extra mile to get a male child. Yet you are blessed with female children. You think they are not children. In the olden days, in the days of our grandfathers, if you have a male child, it used to be a blessing. Why? Why was it a blessing if you have a male child then? Why did everybody aspire to have a male child, and not just one, male children? Because they go to farms. They have farms. The major occupation then is farming. That was the major occupation. And the more boys you have in your family, the more men you have in your family, the more wealthy you can become. The more possibility, of your wealth expanding, because male children go to farms. Male goes to farm with their fathers, so they till the ground and they come back home at night, so they have this, they can have a huge harvest at the end of the day because they have many male children. Now that was a stereotype that has been painted a long time ago. It's coming down again. We keep inheriting it, but things are changing right now. Things are changing. We no longer go to farms. Everybody now goes to school. Whether you're a male or you're a female, you go to school. Everybody graduates. Everybody gets a job. Everybody have the same potential to be somebody, whether a male or a female. So the days of you having pride in having a son or having a male child is gone. It no longer applies in this generation. If you think I'm wrong, I don't know, you might just put your comment there and let's just reason together. But what I think is that the world is changing. Okay? If the society still thinks that your family is not complete without a son, then there's something that needs to be done. Things are not right. Things are not right. Just now before I came on, I was still discussing with my aunt, and she was telling me about somebody who just celebrated a 50-year-old birthday, and she showed me a picture of all her children, 7 children surrounding her. She said she has 7 kids. And do you know why she had 7 kids? Because she was looking for male children. She had the first one, a girl, second one girl, third one girl, fourth to the 5th girl. Now, God blessed her that the 6th child was a male. Now, they tried again the 7th time, hoping that now, since that God has decided to bless us with a male child, the 7th child should also be a male child. And lo and behold, it was a female child. You know, they were disappointed. Now, the motivation behind getting those children was because they were looking for a male child. What? What an error. What an error. You know, we have created this stereotype, and it's actually, if it doesn't stop right now, it's going to create something in the future that we're not ready for. And it's affecting all the ladies. It's affecting ladies. That is why a lady wants to make sure that when I graduate, I'm only good for marriage. Let me just prepare myself to marry. That is why most ladies feel that, you know, until they are sex appealing and, you know, they are beautiful, everything is set, you know, no man will approach me, which is very, 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 very wrong. Now, I just want to quickly discuss on 9 ways that parents are guilty of mental stereotypes. So if you're a parent here, listen, and if you know of a parent that this is going to bless and this is going to help a lot, please share this message to them and copy it, share it now to them. Number 1, you know, we have the stereotype that boys are president and girls are first ladies. It's a very, very, very common stereotype that only men can be president and girls first ladies. Yes. If your husband is a president, you automatically become a first lady. But what happens if you as a wife become a president? I don't know what would the first man, right? So you call the man a first man. Now, it's a mental stereotype because right now we have women doing great stuff in politics, okay? The Prime Minister of UK, very, very controversial woman, Theresa May, is doing so wonderfully well. Why? Because, you know, they know in this society that there's no difference between a male child and a female child. They can actually do anything. Women are breaking the barriers of politics. So that stereotype is wrong. That only boys can be president and only girls are first ladies is very, very wrong. So when you have a female child, if she wants to be a president, inspire her, encourage her that one day you're going to be a president. And don't discourage her that you're only good as a first lady. Number 2, some people actually think that boys are doctors. Boys are only, you know, going to be doctors and girls nurses. So there is mental stereotype that boys are doctors, girls are nurses. Very, very, very wrong. You know that already, right? Another stereotype is that boys are pilots, girls are stewardesses. Very wrong, because we have so many female pilots now. Now, the reason why we might not have as much female pilots as they are male is probably because those females do not believe that they can actually become a pilot, because they've believed the information that, you know, they've been fed with, that only men are allowed to drive aeroplanes, only men are allowed to drive jets. But at the end of the day, you don't use muscle to drive plane. You use brain, you use technique. You need to go to school. And when women began to understand that all they need to become a pilot is to go to the same school that the men are going to learn the same thing that they're learning, and they began to fly airplanes. And that is why when we see a female, you know, pilot, we say, this is a female pilot. Wow, this is great. This is a female pilot. You know, it's very, very sad. It's very sad. A friend of mine studying in doing a master's in UK, was putting on created an Instagram post about 2 months ago, and she said she was discussing with the guy, and the guy asked her, "What is your course? And what course are you studying?" She told her, she told the guy that I'm studying telecommunications, you know, engineering, this complex stuff. And the guy was like, "Wow, how can you do that?" And the message she got was that you are not supposed to be doing this as a woman, as a female. You shouldn't do this. And it was a wrong message, because we feel that complex stuffs are meant for guys, which is very, very, very wrong. Which is very, very wrong. Another stereotype that we as parents create to our children is that boys fix things. Okay, that boys. Okay, someone is asking a question. Praise Onye is asking, what happens in a situation where one doesn't get support from the same gender? Is it psychological? And I'm asking this from a political angle. Okay, so we're going to get back to this question very soon, once I'm done listening with this point. And please, I encourage you guys also to come up with this more of these questions so that we can address it at the end of this broadcast. We have this stereotype, we give our children this stereotype that boys fix things. Boys can only fix things, and girls need things to be fixed. So when things get spoiled in the house, who is the first person you call to? If you have, let's say, if you have males, you have male children and you have female children, when you need something to be fixed, you automatically call the male child. Now, this is how you are doing it wrong as a parent. You automatically call the male child because you feel the male child should be able to do it. Now, what makes you think that the female child can't do this? What makes you think that the female child can't fix? Maybe an appliance got, broken, something got broken. You immediately call the male child. Why should you call the male child? Do you have any tangible reason why you shouldn't call the female child? Yes, because you feel that the female should not be able to fix things. Okay, you feel that the woman should not be able to fix things. Another stereotype we created is that men know how to eat, women knows how to cook. It's a very wrong stereotype. Now, you will know how you're guilty now as a parent. If you're a parent and you're watching this, you will know how you're guilty, because you begin to train your female child to be a good cook, meanwhile neglecting the male child. Neglect your male child to eat very well. So the male children will sit on the dining table expecting their female sisters to bring food to them and serve it on the table, and that is why they carry these things. This thing graduates to the level of marriage, and when they marry, if their wife does not cook for them, it becomes trouble. They cannot go to the kitchen because what they have been trained up with, what they learned from their parents, is that the woman is only good in the kitchen. The woman should be in the kitchen. But thank God for some wise men nowadays. Wise men, they're already understanding the fact that I need to help, I need to support the woman. The kitchen is not labeled women only. Okay, we have awesome chefs out there who are male, who are men, who are males. We have awesome male chefs doing great things that some women can't even do. It's just about learning. What you commit yourself to, you learn it. So the stereotype that only women can cook is very wrong. And there's this stereotype that boys can invent things. Boys only invent things, and girls use what boys invent. Very wrong. It's very wrong. And the last one I'm going to say, which it will make you think twice, make us think twice about how we are affecting the lives of our children, and how we are responsible, how we are guilty for this mental stereotype of gender inequality. Okay, I might be wrong, but this is just what I think. When you give birth to your child, you begin to think of some kind of toys to give them, and you give birth to a male child, you go and get trucks, you get gun, you get pistol, some things that are masculine toys. Now for females, you give them dolls, you give them now what makes you think that the girl child will not be able to play with a fork? What makes you think that this is only what you should do? And what we give them, the message you're passing to them is that this is what you're good for, this is where you should be, you should not cross this boundary, this is the kind of toy that you should play with, this is the kind of this is the kind of way you should be thinking as a woman. And when we start telling them, we start pressuring them, you're a woman, you are going to your husband's house, you have to be able to do this. A man and a woman, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, the same training should be given to you. The same preparation should be given to you to prepare yourself for the future, not just because of marriage, but for the future. If we give them the same preparation, we give them the same expectation, they don't see themselves as less. They don't see themselves as less. Give them the same expectation. You're expected to be the best. If you have a male child, you're expecting the male child, to be a doctor, to be the breadwinner of the family. Why don't you give that same expectation to the woman? And that is why women don't meet up to the expectations, don't meet up the levels that their male counterparts meet up to, not because they can't do it, but because of the expectation that has been set on them. And if they meet that expectation, they're satisfied. And what's that expectation? They are only expected to get married. And once they can get married successfully and give birth to children successfully without having any problem, they've met that expectation. But a man is expected to earn money. A man is expected to go out there, become a CEO, to build companies, to establish himself. That is the expectation, and the man is meeting up to the expectation. If you give your female child that same expectation, that, come on, you're not just good for marriage, you're not just good for a man, you are better than sitting at home, you're better than, staying in the kitchen and doing something. You are better than that. You also need to go out there. You also need to fulfill your purpose, chase your dreams, do whatever you can to make an impact. He or she, she is going to do that. So it lies in our hands, and this is what I've discovered. It lies in the hands of the parents. It lies in the hands of the parents. And to all the parents out there who have male child, female child, whether in equal amount or in even amount, give them the same expectation. Give them the same expectation. The same expectation you have for the male child is the same expectation you should have for the female child. And don't give them this stereotype right from when they're young. If you keep giving them this stereotype, they're going to grow up with this mentality. They're going to grow up with this mentality, and it's going to affect them a lot. It's going to affect them psychologically. It's going to affect them in the way they think, the way they are preparing their mind for the future. So that is how we are responsible as parents. We're responsible for this, this gender inequality stereotype. When I was young, I used to say something that I'm glad I'm not a girl. Now, why did I used to say that I'm glad I'm not a lady? Because I saw that ladies have just one way, and that one way is that I grow up, I marry, give birth to children, full stop. And I really didn't want that kind of life. I don't know what would have happened if I were to be a lady. Maybe I would have been forced to believe that wrong message, that wrong interpretation of what a woman is. Maybe it's going to affect me, or maybe not. But right now, I'm beginning to appreciate who a woman is, and appreciate the gift of the male child. If I have all my children as female children, I'm not going to cry. I'm going to be the most blessed man in this universe. And to all those, some men are still looking for boy child, for male child. I don't know why. And one of the reasons is this, because you feel that, the female child is going to get married to another person and your name is not going to continue. Right now, what smart women are doing is that they retain their name. They retain their, maternal name, and they just add their husband's name to it as a third name. That is very smart, because right now, women can even, continue to carry the name of the family, if that is what your excuse might be, that okay, a male child, nobody can change his name, but when a woman marries, he gets the husband's name. Right now, smart women are beginning to realize that my family's name is very important. When I marry, I want to retain my family's name, then I add my husband's name to it, so they can have those two names together. So potentially, if the woman becomes the president tomorrow, voila, she can be both recognized as somebody from your family and somebody from your husband's family. I think that is going to be a very smart way to solve this problem. It's going to really be a smart way to solve this problem. And thank you very much, guys, for joining in. So if you have any questions I do not know, please put in your questions. I appreciate your comments. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you all guys for joining. And if you have not shared, please share this message for those parents as this is going to help, how they are creating gender inequality, how they've helped in creating gender inequality. Thank you for all of you who have joined in. I so much appreciate. Now let me address the question of praise Olaniyi. What happens in a situation where one doesn't get support from the same gender? What do you mean by support from the same gender? Yeah, the same gender support. If you're a female, getting support from a female. Is it psychological? I'm asking this from a political angle. Yeah, it is. It is psychological. You could say that it is psychological, because what happens if all females in your home or all females in a community are thinking the same way? If they have the same mindset, you can never have that support, because what they will always instill in you is what they know, the value they know. So they can't support you beyond the level of their understanding, beyond the level of what they know, beyond the level of their exposure. So the exposure they have is that a woman is only supposed to reach this height. Okay, so is only supposed to know how to cook, is only supposed to know how to give birth to children, take care of children. Once you can do these two things successfully and be a good wife, give birth to children, be an awesome cook in the kitchen. Come on, those three things makes you a fantastic woman. And once you have that stereotype, everybody in the community, let's say 90% of people in the community have that same way of thinking, you can never have that kind of support. So except a mental revolution comes in, everybody starts rethinking their strategy, starts rethinking how this is supposed to be, how things are supposed to be, you're not going to get that support. So you're quite correct. Praise Olaniyi, it is psychological, and until we begin to think differently, things will never change. Things would not change. I hope I've been able to answer that question. If I have not, please, you can also put in another comment. So thank you guys. This is just a very, very, very short one, and this might just be the last broadcast I'm going to be doing as relating to female or the woman gender. I'm not a woman activist, as some of you think I am. I'm just passionate about women realizing their full potential in life. Okay, I'm not an extremist. I'm not an extreme feminist. I believe in men the same way I believe in women. So from now, the post I'm going to be doing now on is going to be focusing on male and women. Whether you're a man or a woman, it does not separate you, So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Victoria Osakwe, for joining in. Yeah, can feminism also be responsible? You see, you actually need to know the history of feminism, okay, and what feminism actually means. Now, feminism is not about women being better than men. No, that's not what feminism is all about. Now, feminism happened because women were relegated to the background. Women were not seen as, as potential contributors to the economy, to the society. They were relegated to the background. It's going to surprise you to know that in the early days in United States of America, when banks started, creating credit cards and stuff like that in the 1960s and 1950s, they didn't allow women to have credit cards. A woman can only use the credit card of her husband. Do you know that even Stanford University, or the first years when they started Stanford University, they didn't accept women to come and study. They only accepted men. Now, all these stereotypes, together with other several things happening there, created feminism. And now some group of women, maybe I'm going to do a post relating to this later, but I don't know. Some group of women came together and they started protesting that women should always, be acknowledged the same way as men are acknowledged. Okay, so to cut the long story short, feminism is not responsible. Feminism is actually a right cause to make sure that the voice of the woman is heard in the community and they are not relegated to the background. It is not saying that one is better than one, okay? I'm not saying that a man is better than a woman. I'm not saying that a woman is better than a man. What I'm saying is that they both have the same equal potential to become great. They have the same potential, okay? The same, importance in the community, the same, the same value. They can add the same value, okay? So that is what feminism is. So feminism is not responsible. What is responsible is the mental stereotype we've created as parents, and as it started from when we were young. When we, as a young child, grow up, we have the same mentality. We put it in our kids. They grow up also, and and that creates a ripple effect of the wrong information being passed across many generations, which has caused a lot of trouble, you know, nowadays. And imagine, you know, a man thinks it's not yet complete until he has a male child. Very wrong. You know, so many people have more than one wife today because they are looking for male children. Very wrong. You know, this is a very, 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 very wrong thing to do. So thank you guys for joining in. I really do appreciate, and please make sure you share this message, share this broadcast. Thank you, Praise Olaniyi. I really appreciate your comments. You really made this one lively today. Thank you very much. And also go ahead and share. Thank you, Shion. Thank you, Auntie Shion. That's my cousin. Thank you, Pastor Chooks. Yeah, that's my brother from another mother. Thank you, Florence Fagbemi. That's my big mommy. Thank you, Oluwagbemi Sola Akinola. Thank you very much. Thank you, Anthony, for joining in. Thank you, Marcus, for joining in. Thank you, Onyekachi Samuel. Thank you, Aliu, for joining in. That's my my brother also from university days. And thank you, Jane Nena. Thank you, Emeka Onwuka. That is my boss. That is my former boss. Very good guy. Yeah, it's a great guy. Really, I really admire him a lot. So thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate, and I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. What am I going to be doing on Saturday? Just stay tuned. I'm going to be I'm going to be talking on something that is very, very, very much prevalent in our society this Saturday, and it's all about the era of mental decadence. Welcome to the era of mental decadence, where everybody has a big head but nothing inside. You know, just stay tuned to Saturday, and hope you're going to come and make it worthwhile once again. Thank you very much. Do have a great day ahead. God bless you. Bye.